Hello everyone, glad to be back. Thank you all for participating in today's stream. Hopefully you had a great weekend, and of course many thanks to all the members of our community who will join later on live stream or will watch live stream in recording. And as many of you already know, today was very and still is quite difficult for Russia because there was strikes in Crimea with huge number of casualties. Also this afternoon terrorist attacks in Dagestan. So I will go through news on these topics during this live stream, and I will share with you latest on this. And also, of course, I will monitor chat, and if I see questions that I can answer, I will definitely try my best. And I will start with question that I received on Boosty from a member of our community. And of course, if you want to make sure that I will not miss your question or commentary, of course you can send question or commentary right now during the live stream through PayPal, Boosty, or donation alerts. Links are under this video, of course, in the description box, and I will react on those questions. And well, first of all, let's go through some latest news. When it comes to strike on Crimea, on initial stages there was reports that 5 air targets, missiles, were intercepted by Russian air defense systems in Crimea. But then videos appear on internet about these strikes. Basically, beach was targeted, by the way. Beach was targeted by with ATACMS missiles by US, because we all know that in reality ATACMS missiles are operated with by US military personnel, and as a result of this strike, 5 people died in Sevastopol, including 3 children. And the latest report was that 144 people are wounded, among them 27 kids, 27 children, and 62 people hospitalized. So their condition is serious, and they've been hospitalized. Well, this is clearly terrorist attack. During this attack, according to many sources, US drone was circulating over the Black Sea and most likely coordinating this missile attack on Sevastopol. And well, question is when enough is enough, really. I mean, I don't know. I'm really angry, and I guess many my fellow citizens feel the same, because something clearly has to be done to end this madness. And after today, we definitely are a step closer to this next level of escalation, because no matter how much Russian leadership wants to avoid further escalation or deployment of some extreme force to bring Western ruling class to their senses, I mean, they would not be able to maintain this calm any longer, because this type of strikes, when hundreds of Russian civilians are targeted simultaneously, will only continue, unfortunately. And Russian Defense Ministry made its commentary on this strike in Crimea, and responsibility was laid on US by Russian Defense Ministry. So Washington is you know what, let me translate, by the way. Let me translate, because Washington is responsible for the missile attacks on civilians in Sevastopol, since all flight missions for American ATACMS missiles are entered by US specialists. That was stated by the Russian Ministry of Defense. Yet another statement, yet another strong words, but when it comes to actions, I really don't see much for now, and that's why I'm saying when enough is enough. After all, at least these drones can be neutralized. At least these surveillance drones of the NATO can be neutralized over the Black Sea, isn't it? I mean, how many Russian citizens have to die from terrorists and their Western backers so that some actions will be taken? How anybody can explain what happened to the people that were killed, to relatives of the people that were killed today, or to the relatives? And by the way, at some point, I guess US leadership and CIA's leadership realized that, well, maybe they crossed the red line, because later on today, this afternoon, reports start coming in about terrorist activity in Dagestan, and to be more precise, synagogue was targeted in Derbent city, and also 2 Orthodox churches by the terrorists. Orthodox priest was killed. Many people were wounded as a result of the shootout with the terrorists. Latest information was that I see that 6 law enforcement officers were killed and 12 wounded. At this point, several, according to reports and video materials, several terrorists being neutralized, several terrorists detained. But at this point, as I'm making this live stream, shootout is continuous in Dagestan, in Derbent city, for example. Several channels shared videos when with sounds of gunshots, and this is clearly organized attack that intends to not just to create tensions inside Russia between different religious groups, between different ethnicities, but also to divert attention of the society, divert attention of the public from what happened in Crimea today. I don't think it will work. People will just get even more angry, because everyone understands that this is CIA and MI6, by the way, is killing Russian citizens in Dagestan, and it was US and UK led their military anti-Russian bloc that killed and injured Russian citizens in Sevastopol. It's just too obvious for everybody, and if by authorizing these attacks in Dagestan, this terrorist activity, Washington and London were hoping that they can somehow divert attention and avoid answers on what they did into Sevastopol. They were mistaken. They will pay heavy price. They will pay heavy price for these crimes. In Dagestan, anti-terrorist operation is in force now, and additional units of the Rosguardia were deployed, and I guess in next several hours all the terrorists will be neutralized. Of course, after live stream I will monitor the situation, and if any additional news I will publish on my Telegram page. So very difficult day for Russia, for sure. And as I said, man, you can see I'm clearly angry with all this, and many citizens here in Russia, I'm sure, are even more angry, because we all know perfectly well that if Russia demonstrated strong force, maybe extreme force if necessary, 2 years ago, Western ruling class will no longer escalate with Russia. But until And we also know that until Moscow will demonstrate force, only language that Western ruling class understands, these attacks on Russian civilians, these attacks on Russia continue. Western ruling class will not stop, simply. I mean, it is what it is, which is very unfortunate. If Western societies, if majority in the West, Western societies were against this war, and if people were demanding the escalation from the at least formal governments, maybe that will influence situation a little bit, but vast majority in the Western public is poorly informed. They only receive information from propaganda outlets. They have no idea what is going on, how close world really is towards unseen level of previously unseen level of escalation, and simply they just don't care. I mean, they don't know, they don't care, and therefore I think it is too obvious that until Russia will use some extreme force, these attacks on Russia will only intensify. Let me check several media outlets. Let's see RIA Novosti, if any additional updates. So not yet. So I will continue now. And by the way, there was also shootout in Abkhazia on the border with Russia. According to reports that I see, one person was killed, several wounded there. But I'm not quite sure that situation in Abkhazia is related with the terrorist attacks on Russia that we see today. We need some more time to see what was there, and so yes, this is when it comes to latest news. And well, let's have a community chat now. Let's have a community chat. Time to time, I will monitor, of course, media outlets. I will update in real time and see informations. So I guess all the latest news I shared with you. Unfortunately, as I said previously, this is the videos, by the way. I shared this from DD Geopolitics, these videos. Shootout in Derbent city of the Dagestan were heard, sounds of gunshots this evening. I mean, I can this video. I cannot hear, by the way, because I don't have a microphone, but I guess you are hearing now sounds of guns. There are many unconfirmed informations that are circulating right now on internet, and I will not share those informations yet because we just don't know. More time is needed and more factual information. And in tomorrow's update, of course, I will share all the information that will be available for that time. And let's talk about some other stuff also. And I will start, by the way, Q&A part with a question from Carlos Gaspar, member of our community. I received a question through Boosty today. What do you suspect is China's reaction regarding Putin's visit to Vietnam? This is interesting topic. Thank you very much, Carlos, for your support, for your donation and the question. And well, I think it's an interesting topic because, in my understanding, Russian president went to Vietnam to play a role of mediator between Vietnam and China, because two countries have some certain issues, unresolved issues right now. When it comes, they have territorial dispute, basically, and unfortunately, U.S. is trying to use Vietnam as its proxy against China, and I think this is not in the best interests of Vietnam. This is definitely not in best interests of the global south or the emerging multipolar world to allow US administration to use countries in the region as a proxies. And I think Moscow, during this visit to Hanoi, Russian president, Russian delegation probably conducted some diplomatic steps behind the scenes to de-escalate tensions between Hanoi and Beijing. And well, this step from Russian side may be connected with the earlier visit of the Russian president to North Korea, because well, I guess Beijing was not really happy or too happy with the establishment of the strategic relationships between Russia and North Korea, because they understand in Beijing that if North Korea's economy will open for Russia, just give it 3 to 5 years, 10 years, and North Korea would be unrecognizable in terms of economical developments and improvements of the life of the people there. And in that case, of course, Beijing will lose its leverage that it has over the North Korea. At least that was the understanding in the world, that China had a significant influence over the North Korea. And now things might change in this regard. And to calm things down in Beijing, maybe Russian leadership simultaneously went to Vietnam and played the role of mediator between Vietnam and China to de-escalate some tensions there. So Moscow basically demonstrated that, you know what, we have to do what we have to do, but this is in our best interests. And I mean this emerging multipolar world, and in the Pacific region, to be more precise. So that's how I see it, by the way. China most likely was happy to see Russian leadership in Vietnam, because they know perfectly well that Russia will try to de-escalate between Hanoi and Beijing, and this is clearly in best interests of China also, because the more proxies US will have in the region, more difficult it's going to be for China to further build up its economical, financial, political stance in the region and in the world. So this is my understanding of the situation. I hope I give you a good enough answer. And let me also check Boosty and Buy Me Coffee. Not Buy Me Coffee, but donation alerts, man. I'm always forgetting that I've been cancelled on Buy Me Coffee. So yeah, no questions here. So let me check chat now. Let me check chat. We have Yaroslav Pelechek's question. I would like to ask, are still Russian warriors surrounded in a Vovchansk factory? I hope the situation has improved. Prayers with their guys. Yaroslav from Czech Republic. Hello Yaroslav, thank you for your question. Well, when it comes to situation on the Vovchansk, by the way, it was a Ukrainian and Western propaganda that Russian forces were encircled in Vovchansk. Russian forces were never encircled in Vovchansk. And by the way, when we are talking about forces, we should realize that it was just a platoon. On initial stages, just a few Russian soldiers entered this industrial zone in Vovchansk. Because when we are talking about Russian forces being established, some less informed individual may think that it's some battalions went into this industrial plant and then were cut off from it. But and this is the industrial area that we are talking about, this one here, mainly. And in reality, what happened is that several Russian soldiers entered this. It was reckoning force operation. They entered this industrial area in Vovchansk, and they established their positions there. But because from two sides line of communication was under fire of the Kiev regime from the south and north, that was connecting rest of the Russian controlled territory in Vovchansk and this industrial area. Kiev regime started pushing this narrative and Western media that Russian group of forces are encircled in this industrial area, and it was only just a few soldiers, man, literally few soldiers. Later on, number of Russian soldiers increased up to platoon. Right now, I don't know how many Russian soldiers are in industrial zone or if they are maintaining their positions here. But it was never encircled, by the way, never, because distance from industrial zone to Russian controlled territory that is undisputed even by pro-Ukrainian mappers is like 100 meters. 150 meters. And by the way, if you take a look at this map here, you can clearly see that there is quite areas to go through between industrial plant and the Russian controlled city area. Quite ways to hide and move around without being targeted by snipers or drones or stuff. It's not easy, but it's possible. So yeah, how are you gonna say that a group of forces being encircled when it's only 100 or 200 meters between this group of forces, forward group of forces, and the rest of the forces? I mean, 100 and 200 meters, and this is encirclement. When this connection line of communication is under fire, I mean, this is not encirclement. So it was always a bias on the part of Kiev regime's propaganda and the Western propaganda. They never encircled no Russian forces, by the way. Never. Since then, after all, since when like platoon is become a group of forces or stuff like that? No. In reality, if we can say that someone is in encirclement, or at least in operational encirclement, it's Kiev regime forces in this citadel. This is the citadel area, by the way, high-rise buildings, this block here, which is still controlled by Kiev regime, and on daily basis, Russian armed forces pounding this area with Solntsepyok heavy flamethrower systems, with long-range artillery strikes, drone strikes, and so on. We did not yet see deployment of FAB 3000, for example, by Russian forces in this area. That would be also effective stuff, I guess. But maybe FAB 3000s have not been deployed yet, because who knows, maybe there are some negotiations between Ukrainian forces and Russian forces, and maybe Russian side is giving opportunity to Kiev regime forces to surrender. And according to some reports, it's several hundred Ukrainian military personnel, by the way, that is locked in this citadel right now. And still, by the way, I'm not saying that they are encircled, because they clearly have opportunity to withdraw. It's not going to be easy, but they have opportunity to withdraw. They have a line of withdrawal. They can go eastwards and then move south, cross this river, Volchaya River, and they will end up in southern part of Vovchansk. So this is my understanding of their situation, by the way. It was never encirclement of any troops, really. Non-Russian troops were encircled in Vovchansk, and no Ukrainian troops were encircled in Vovchansk, although some may, as I said, some may argue that this Ukrainian group of several hundred military personnel in that apartment block, high-rise apartment building block, is in partial encirclement or in operational encirclement. Argument can be made, but still, because they have ways to withdraw, I would not call it encirclement either. So let's continue now, and let me once again check, dear friends, if any breaking news for this moment. So RIA Novosti is not reporting about any breaking news for now. Same for TASS. Let me check Взгляд newspaper. So I will monitor, by the way, of course, I will monitor channels. Let's go in DD Geopolitics, for example. Yes, DD Geopolitics is reporting about reinforcement that arrived in Derbent city. This is Russian troops, Rosguardia special forces, I guess, that arrived to deal with the terrorists. I'm not gonna open this video. It's blurred, so it's a graphic stuff there, most likely. But this is video about another eliminated terrorist in Dagestan. Well, Kadyrov, by the way, head of Chechen Republic, stated that those who committed the terrorist acts in Dagestan have neither faith nor nationality. They are inhuman beings who should be destroyed on the spot. This is comment from head of Chechen Republic, Ramzan Kadyrov. Russian guards are preparing for assault on Mirzabekov in Derbent. The militants are blocked in one of their houses. Shots are heard, so I guess several militants have been isolated, blocked, and operation is underway now to neutralize them. So and right now, by the way, latest reporting, as I start streaming on 2104, DD Geopolitics is reporting that 40 hostages are locked in Orthodox Church in the Kirovsky district of Makhachkala. Armed militants are battling Russian security forces on the streets. So situation is very tense. Situation is very tense, and this is CIA and MI6, by the way. I blame directly CIA and MI6, no questions about it. This is clear attempt of the Washington and London to divert people's attention, divert public's attention for crime that they committed today in Sevastopol, in Crimea, by targeting civilians with ATACMS missiles. And those ATACMS had cluster munition, by the way. There are reports initially, as I mentioned earlier, there was statements that 5 ATACMS missiles were intercepted, but then we see all those videos when people are running from the beach. People were resting, by the way, and then ATACMS explode over their heads. These clusters were spread around. Civilians were targeted, clearly, no doubts about that. And then new reports came in that 4 ATACMS were intercepted, and I guess 1 ATACMS exploded exactly over the head of civilians on the coastline. I'm no military expert, I was not there, but casualty numbers, 144 wounded, 5 unfortunately died, among them 3 children, and many people are in extremely difficult condition right now, hospitalized, and this number of casualties is rising. It's clearly direct targeting of the civilians. So in Makhachkala, in Derbent, by the way, gunfire is heard there. So I'm not gonna, you know what? Where is my headphones? I don't know. I just don't know where it is my headphones. So that. Okay. Head of North Ossetia Alania, Minyailo, made a statement that terrorist act in Dagestan is orchestrated from outside to destabilize the North Caucasus. 100%, by the way, 100%, I agree with statement of head of North Ossetia Alania. This terrorist attack was orchestrated from outside. It's CIA and MI6, by the way. You don't have to be genius to know this. It's CIA and MI6. It's Washington and London that is killing Russian civilians with their terrorists. let's see what RT is reporting. I already shared this information. So tanks roll into Makhachkala and their banned social media videos. Well, let's see. So heavy military equipment was deployed, as I guess, not just additional personnel, but also... Oh, thank you. Headphones. So... sorry guys. So this way I'll be able to also hear what's going on in the video, to make sure that there's some no extremists, some footage. So I see no tanks yet. It's a BTR there. And this is gunshots. So yeah, situation is tense for sure. And as I said, by the way, after live stream I will continue monitoring, of course, channels. So new statement right now on the Geopolitics page. The Ministry of Internal Affairs of Dagestan has refuted RIA Novosti's information that there are hostages in a church in Makhachkala. This is important. So RIA Novosti was wrong, according to Ministry of Internal Affairs of Dagestan Autonomous Republic. According to Ministry's information, there is a shootout near the church, but the assault has not started yet. Inside the church in Makhachkala, 19 people had barricaded themselves to ensure their own safety. They are now out of danger. The police of the Dagestan reported that there were no hostages. So this is good news, at least some good news from Dagestan, that there are no hostages in hands of terrorists. That's what Dagestan local police is reporting. Okay, this is good news, but overall situation is of course very dramatic. And as I said, in Dagestan, anti-terrorist operation, counter-terrorist operation is declared. Okay, that's been said. By the way, let me check here, and let's have a community chat as always during the live streams. I will go through chat now. And if I see questions, I will definitely try my best to give you informative answer. Magda is here, our moderator. Hello, Magda. So I see a question. Bencher Dent is asking, Chinese JF-17 had crashed in Pakistan last week, and it said due to engine failure. There are all the versions of the USSR aircraft. Well, JF-17, we can Google it, by the way. JF-17s. These Chinese planes, by the way, are domestic build planes. These are domestic build planes. Some may argue that this is kind of modernization of the MiG-21. These planes are produced together with Pakistan, I believe, and well, these planes are, I guess, not bad fourth generation planes. These planes have nothing to do with the Soviet airplanes or modern Russian planes. It's JF-15 that is a copy of the Russian Su-27, but this one is domestically built in China. This is combined project of China and Pakistan. Once again, some experts are arguing that this plane is, I mean, if you take a look at this, you know, if you know how MiG-21 is looked, this is just a modernized version, according to some experts, of the MiG-29. This forward обтекатель, how you say it in English, nose of the plane is changed to host a radar, obviously, but in some ways it's it may be really improved version. But if you meant Chinese planes that look like Soviet ones, then that's JF-15. Секунду. So that's it, by the way. That's how JF-15s are look. That's it. So this is clearly looks like Soviet Su-27, and on initial stages China was actively using Soviet or Russian engines. Maybe some of them were reversed engineered in China, and therefore it was well known, well established opinion, at least in among community who loves aviation, that Chinese engines were quite bad. Domestically built engines were not as sophisticated as Soviet or Russia, and that's why even rumors were circulating that for the J-20 or latest variations of the advanced fighter jets, China purchased Russian Su-35s to take engines then from these planes and reverse engineer those engines and then to use on modern Chinese aircraft. But lately reports are that Chinese manufacturers significantly improved their skills when it comes to engine productions, and latest Chinese engines probably are also very capable. I don't know, I'm not expert in this field. I don't know, are they as capable as Russian engines when it comes to power weight ratio or not, but most likely they are powerful enough, because if you take a look at the J-20, by the way, Chinese 5th gen, this is J-20. So if you take a look at this, quite a big plane, by the way, it's a big plane. It's powered on initial stages. Maybe these planes were powered by Russian engines, but at this point those planes, according to many reports that I see, are powered by Chinese engines, and if those engines are not sufficient enough, they would not be deployed in these large quantities. I guess they would not be used in these quantities on the best plane that China has right now, J-20, 5th generation long-range interceptor, I will say, because J-20 is not really dogfighter, not really fighter plane in classical understanding, like US F-22 or Russian Su-57. It's a long-range interceptor. It's a huge plane. It has huge internal bay. It can, with good sophisticated enough radar, it can detect and track and then fire it up on enemy planes on distances up to 100-200 kilometers away. So J-20 don't really needs to conduct any air-to-air combat, close-range air-to-air combat in this regard, because airframe of J-20 don't really looks like it is a dogfighter, or it has a high maneuverability like F-22 or Su-57 does. But anyways, thank you for your question. And I guess this is it, or did I miss some question, by the way? Dear friends, if you can, to make sure that I would not miss your question, can you write capital Q before question or entire question in capital letters, because time to time I struggle to find the question. So anyways, I see no question right now, and therefore let me continue with some news. Also check here. I remind you, if I may, that you can send question or comment that you want to highlight through Boosty, PayPal, or Donation Alert. Donation Alert works only during the live streams, by the way. So okay, no questions there, and let's continue then. I will go through some posts that I published on my Telegram, but first of all, let me see what DD Geopolitics is reporting. So RQ-4B Global Hawk is still flying over the Black Sea in the vicinity of Crimea. This is a latest report from the DD Geopolitics channel. As I said, by the way, something has to be done with this because US cannot be allowed, US leadership or British leadership or NATO leadership cannot be allowed to kill Russian citizens left and right like that, man. It's just I mean, enough is enough, really. I don't even know what to say at this point no more, man. It's just you know. Question from Nidish Kumar. Hello, Nidish. Glad you're here. I will say also a veteran of our live streams and our community. Question is, how do you USA State Department visiting Dalai Lama? How do you, I mean, my opinion about this, well, you know, it will further, I guess, it will further deteriorate relationships between US and China if US delegation will visit Dalai Lama, Tibet region, not Tibet region in China, but part that is in India. Many Tibetans left for India when Chinese Communist Party established control over the Tibet, of course. And well, I mean, this is I don't really have strong opinion on this topic. I guess it's, I mean, it will definitely not help to improve relationships between China and US, but this is first time, by the way, I heard about Dalai Lama anything at all. I don't know why. Several years ago, Dalai Lama was quite active, public figure, but I mean, lately, as I said, man, I don't even remember when I last time see any news about Dalai Lama in Russian media, at least. So thank you for sharing information. I didn't even knew that State Department is planning to visit Dalai Lama. I didn't know about it. So thank you for the information. There, Makler is asking, what are guns like in Russia for ownership and personal defense? Yes, Nidish is commenting, no part of Tibet, it is in Indian territory. Yes, I remember that when China entered Tibet, many people from many Tibetans left for India, and I don't know why. I was thinking that Tibet was somewhat divided between China and India. Maybe this wrong understanding I had because of Tibetans were moved to India, number of Tibetans. So thank you for correction, Nidish. And when it comes to this question about what kind of guns you can own here in Russia, it's first of all you need permission, you have to go medical checking. It's not like in US when you go in a shop and buy some weapons there. No, you have to go through some medical research to make sure that individual is mentally stable and has no issues. Then person can apply for license for hunter, and then if you have a license of the hunter, you can go to shop and buy hunting rifles like Saiga, for example. It's automatic. It's not necessarily automatic. It's you still to have trigger one by one this trigger, but it looks like a AK. This Saiga hunting rifle and narratives of that design, and you can buy some carabines or some hunting equipment, hunting weapon systems. When it comes to pistols, as far as I know, by the way, yet again you have to apply. You have to go on the medical research, then apply for license. And if you are in a security company or then you may receive license to have a gun. But I don't think if you have nothing to do with law enforcement agencies or security companies, I don't think you'll be able to have a firearm in that regard. You can have a traumatic pistol, that's for sure, and traumatic pistols for self-defense is, I mean, quite enough. I guess it can stop intruder to I mean, if there is any intrusion into your house, it can defend you for sure. It's good enough weapon, that traumatic pistols. But you cannot have a firearms here in Russia at home like in US, that's for sure. So Jorash is asking, do you think it's possible that USA could become a force for good in the world? Wow. USA, I would like to see USA as a force for a good, because I can imagine that world would be in much better place if US was run by decent people. But is it realistic? I mean, right now it's Biden in formally in charge, isn't it? And we all understand that Biden makes no decisions at all. I mean, he barely understands who the hell he is and where he is. So there are some other forces, clearly, that and there was always these other forces that were making decisions, pulling the strings, and therefore these public figures like presidents or head of State Department and others, they are just talking heads, in my understanding, and therefore, I mean, can this system be changed? No. I mean, those groups supposed to be as powerful as they can get, and I don't think US citizens will ever manage to regain control over their country. I'm sorry to say that, but I don't think US citizens will be able to regain control over their country and to transfer this failed empire that US is right now into a real republic. I don't think this is possible, unfortunately. So therefore, US cannot be force for good in this world. No, it has a chance. It had a chance in past, but we all see what US does worldwide, for decades and decades and decades, and because of the actions of US, millions of people died, by the way, millions of people, and it seems like it's not going to change. It's sad to say this, but I mean, I will ask same question to our community, what they think about it. Is it possible that US citizens will regain control over their country? If it is possible, then theoretically, yes. Maybe in that case, decent people will be in charge of US once again, but is it possible though? I don't know. I don't think so. So, Nidish Kumar is commenting. They already visited Dalai Lama and wanting to introduce Tibet bill in the U.S. Parliament, and Tibetan refugees live in the Himachal Pradesh. So thank you for information, Nidish. As I said, it's a long time since there was any news in Russian media about Dalai Lama, about I did not even see this news that U.S. State Department officials visited Dalai Lama, or there was any contact or something. That's why I'm surprised. That's why I don't have really opinion on this. But whatever the case, it because of the situation with the Tibet. Of course, any contacts between Washington and it's just logical to assume that any contacts between Washington's officials and Tibetans will be perceived in China as a hostile step for obvious reasons. So that's my understanding, but as I said, I have no strong opinion because I have no information about this exact development. I'm telling you, and I cannot, if you ask me, I cannot remember when last time I heard anything in the news about Dalai Lama. Maybe on TV there was something, by the way. I just don't watch TV. That's why no one can say to me that I'm propagandized or something, because I don't watch TV, by the way. Only if I see on internet some fragments from some TV shows, maybe I will check out. But when it comes to TVs, and TVs are of course main instruments of the propaganda in all countries, by the way, and Russia is no exception for sure. And I have no idea what is the propaganda narrative in state-run media right now in Russia, because I just don't watch. There is TV, by the way, on the wall. And since we started renting this flat, this TV was working probably like 5 times. It's more than 2 years, by the way, we are here, and maybe 5 times we switch on TV to, I don't know, kids. Probably my kids were watching some cartoons, and I remember once I was watching some movie or something. It was interesting because I don't watch TV for like 20 years, maybe more, and this feeling was quite strange, because I don't used to watch TV, and then I was watching this big TV and movies playing there. That was strange. But anyways, let's continue. Let me check, by the way, some latest reportings. So I already reported that this information of RIA Novosti about hostages in Dagestan was not accurate. There are no hostages, according to Dagestani police. So latest report on RT is the Dagestan terrorist attack. The death toll hits 9. The Republic's Muftiat reports. Of these, 7 are law enforcement officers. 25 people were injured. So this is latest on this topic. Let's see what Slaviangrad is reporting about. There is nothing about situation in Dagestan right now on Slaviangrad channel. So yes, let's continue with the community chat, and a question from Z1 to IT. Levan, did you see Georgian football matches? Very nice. No, unfortunately I don't. My wife pays attention to Euro 2024, but I don't, by the way. I said earlier that I'm no longer gonna pay any attention to this extremely politicized and ideologized so-called sporting events that Western ruling class is conducting, and I didn't joke about. I really don't pay attention. I know Georgia first time is on Euro 2024 since the collapse of Soviet Union, and I wish all the best, all the luck to Georgian team, but I'm not going to watch this non-sporting event, Euro 2024. I just don't care. I don't have to. I will not pay attention to Olympics. I will not pay attention to anything that Western ruling class will do. It's embarrassing to me personally to be part of this nonsense. I don't want to be part of it, man. I will not legitimize craziness of the Western ruling class by paying attention to these fake sporting events. That's my take, man. You may don't like my answer, but I just hate that stuff, man. If it was fair, real sporting event, okay, but because they are discriminating people, by the way, just because Russians are not will be banned from Olympics, will be banned from football events, from everything basically that West is organizing, just because they are Russians. This is fascism, by the way, in pure form. This is fascism, and there can be no justification for that. And to me personally, it is unfortunate that people worldwide still don't understand what is going on, and they unwillingly or by not being informed enough are playing into this fascism of the Western ruling class. That's all it is, man. And I don't want to have any part of it, man. I'm gonna ignore all of it. That's my take, by the way. Nidish Kumar is asking that how does cable network works in Russia? Is state channels are free or they charge for license? And I want to know about Russian cinema. Well, when it comes to cable networks, on this TV right now, I don't pay cable. It's in a price tag for renting this flat. It's not really that expensive. Because when I had Rostelecom internet earlier, I had package for TV also with some 100 and something channels, if not more. We never used this because I was using Rostelecom just as an internet to work, and price was around 800 rubles. And 800 rubles, by the way, is like $10. Yes, like $10, by the way. And you will have like 100 plus channels. I don't really know exact number, but it's lot of channels. And majority of those channels are, by the way, absolutely free and have nothing to do with the state. There is only several channels that have a stronger newscast, stronger news updates, strong reduction of the news. Some channels are 24-hour news channels. Yes, those channels have connection with the state. Several of them, like Russia 24, for example, which is part of Russia Today conglomerate, media conglomerate. It's a state-run media, obviously. And I don't know, I never worked in state-run media, and I don't really know how this relationship is built between state-run media and journalists in state-run media and the state. I have no experience of that entire my life since 17 years, by the way, when I start publishing my articles. From very first days of my life in journalism, I was working in independent media. I never spent a single day in a state-run media, so I don't really know what it means to be journalist or staff of the state-run media. But and I mean, I don't even want to. I don't know this, so that therefore I'm not gonna speculate because I just don't know. But as I said, time to time I watch some updates. By the way, I watch some updates for some episodes on. Thank you very much to Pamela for donation on PayPal. Thank you. I appreciate your support. So yes, I don't really have much to say about state-run media. I spoke about cable networks. It's quite cheap and lots of channels, by the way, about just about everything. There are several channels that are state-run, mainly because they have strong news redactions, news departments. And when it comes to Russian cinema, well, Russian cinema is booming, I will say, especially now, because as we all know, due to sanctions, Western companies, Hollywood is basically refusing to deliver its movies to Russia, and therefore cinemas are paying much bigger attention to Russian movies. And this is a big opportunity, big opening for Russian film producer companies, for Russian directors, Russian actors, and the Russian cinema is booming. I will not say that quality of movies are like top notch, but still I'm not critic either. At least they are doing something. And in recent years, there was at least several movies that I really enjoy. They might be not, yet again, maybe not top movies in this world, but they were enjoyable, man. And after all, movie is all about having a good time, isn't it? Yes, some movies are about getting know better some historical events and stuff, and some movies can be very, very heavy, and even depressing. I understand that, but in general, movies are to have some good time, to rest. And last time I went to see Russian movie was Chiburashka, by the way. And I went with my family on this movie, and we enjoyed that movie. So yes, hopefully, current situation when Hollywood is mainly out of Russian movie market. Hopefully this will give additional incentives to Russian businesses to invest in Russian cinematography, and I believe in years to come, Russia will start producing some more and more high quality movies, by the way. I want to believe in that, because during the Soviet era, by the way, there was such great movies made. I still watched some of those movies, by the way. Not just about some historical, very serious stuff, but also comedies, by the way. There was great comedies in Soviet era. And I believe there is potential for Russian cinema to gain momentum and to become big again. I hope that will happen. Concerned citizen is asking, is it possible to root out the current Western political elites? No, unfortunately. How? In the West, dear friends, we have situation right now that majority of community is very poorly informed, and this is factual, isn't it? And majority of the society is receiving information from propaganda outlets, and until things will go down badly, very badly, those people will never realize that something is wrong. And once they will realize something is wrong, it will be too late to do something. And therefore, with such societies that are this poorly informed in majority of cases, how are you gonna root out this corrupt political elites or corrupt political class or ruling class? Because political class, in my opinion, is just talking heads. Real rulers are families or clans that are behind financial institutions of the West. First of all, these multipolar corporations, multicultural, multinational corporations, and so on, and they are pulling the strings, I guess. Those generational families that are in charge for centuries at this point, and also corporations that were created by these families. And you're not gonna be able to get rid of those people, man. No, I don't think so. To be realistic, man, it's just seems impossible. And that's why, by the way, I guess many people in the West are realizing that they lost control over their country and they are not happy with the direction that their countries are moving, and therefore they are looking for places of emigration. And Russia is one of the countries that many Westerners, if we are talking about Western world, many Westerners are choosing, and more citizens from the Western states are coming Russia for living. Families, by the way, families, because and they love it here. It's not easy. Immigration in other countries, it's never gonna be easy, obviously. But they are coming here. They love that normality is not just okay in Russia, but welcomed. That's where we are living, by the way. We are, traditionalists. We support and protect our traditional and family values, our cultural values, and it's welcomed. It's welcomed. It's not like in the West, by the way, when in some cases you may not be even capable of say something to protect your principles. Otherwise, you might be called some names and stuff. In Russia, it's not like that, man. Normality is absolutely welcomed here, and this wave of emigrations from the West will only increase. I believe this will not stop. And give it like 3, 5, 10 years, and probably tens of thousands of Westerners will emigrate in Russia, and at some point, this wave may transform into tsunami of immigration from the Western states, because I cannot even imagine to live in a country like some Western countries when I have 2 daughters, by the way. My older daughter is applying for university, so she's going to be a student now soon. But my younger daughter is still in school. And when I hear some stories from US that there's some craziness is happening there, and some males are allowed to go, for example, in bathrooms of the females. This is sickening, man. This is sickening. Some sick individual can say that he no longer feels like male. He wants to be female now, and allowed to go to some female's bathroom. And this is new normal in the West? No, man. No. I don't want that kind of anything of that, like that to happen forever in Russia, man. Hell no. So I only understand, and I personally I stressed many times that it will be great on part of Russian government if they will make it easier for Westerners to emigrate to Russia, because they will come in mass, and Russia definitely needs more people, and also they will bring their knowledge, they will bring the investments. They are law-obeying, hard-working people, by the way. Otherwise, West would not be built this well. And they will benefit by becoming Russian citizens, and in general, Russian society and Russia will benefit. So, if it was up to me, I will definitely make it easier to travel to Russia. That's the only way you can get rid of Western elites, or their control, by the way, to emigrate in some other country that you will feel free. And Russia is definitely one of those countries. So, dear friends, it's more than an hour now. Let's. Let me check Boosty. Yes, by the way. Oh, thank you, Candid Schmiles. I have new subscriber on the Boosty. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. I hope you will find the Boosty channel interesting. Thank you. And let me check donation alert. Anonym is commenting. Thank you very much. No name here. Thank you for your donation. Greetings from Romania. Romania is completely captured by the Western globalists, so people like me have no say. But I and my other hope, many others hope for better times and better relations with Russia. Thank you very much for your comment and for your donation, for your support. Well, we should never lose hope, by the way, that's for sure. We should never lose hope, and should always fight for a better future for our kids. Any way we find possible, by maintaining our humanity, of course. So thank you for your comment. I don't know if to continue this topic of Western ruling elites, if they will continue to escalate with Russia, by the way, and they will, at some point, no matter what, how much Moscow or Russian leadership wants to avoid next level of escalation, they will be forced to use some extreme force, and after that, maybe societies, majority of the societies in the West will start wake up, and maybe it will become possible that they will manage to at least influence decision-making process in the West, and after time, maybe they will even manage to change their elites for better people. Let's hope so, but it's definitely not gonna be easy. That's for sure. And let's check some latest news, by the way. DD Geopolitics is reporting that shooting in a church in Makhachkala has ended. At least one attacker killed. Reported chairman of the National Assembly in Dagestan. Also breaking news on DD Geopolitics. Unknown individuals fired at a car with police officers in the center of the village of Sergokala. One officer injured, reported the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Dagestan. So this was a well organized, by the way, as you can clearly see, well organized, complex attack of the terrorists in Dagestan, and I am convinced, by the way, that this is a operation, this is terrorist attack that coordinated by CIA, maybe with some participation of MI6, most likely, because they usually operate together. And this is attempt of Washington and London to divert attention of the public, wide world community, from a crime that they committed against humanity today in Sevastopol by targeting civilians with ATACMS long-range missile that had cluster warhead. That's what is going on here. And for tomorrow, probably we will have much more information, and of course I will share that additional information in my updates. And also, by the way, shooting has resumed in Makhachkala, reports correspondent of the RIA Novosti, so situation is still tense, by the way. And air alert has been declared in Sevastopol once again. This was reported few minutes ago. Governor of the Sevastopol shared information about it. So yes, as you can see, very tense situation. And well, I will try to answer at least several more questions, and probably I will end this live stream on that. How many Siberian tigers are left in wild in Russia? Wow, Nidish Kumar is asking. You know what? Let's Google it right now, because I definitely don't know answer on that. So let's see. I find the TASS News Agency's report here. So, well, there is no detailed information. Oh, yes, I find one, by the way. This is Российская газета. So, number of Amur tigers, Siberian tigers, increased up to 600 as a result of protective measures that were put in place by Russian government. Unfortunately, there are instances when some buccaneers are hunting and killing tigers, but very strict measures are in place to protect these wonderful animals, Siberian tigers. So it's 600 of them right now. And quite often I shared on my Telegram channel videos when Siberian tigers, without afraid anything, are walking next to the street, and when people are starting make videos of tigers from the cars, of course they should stay in a car because this is wild animals, and they're not gonna play around, obviously. So yes, 600. This is I guess this is approximate number because it definitely impossible to know exact number of tigers in the wild. So questions. And dear friends, maybe I will go through at least several news that I reported on my Telegram. So, for example, drone warfare in Ukraine is developing quite rapidly. And on this video here, you can see net was deployed by Russian drone to take out Ukrainian drone. Not just me, but many people probably predicted the same development. It was just too obvious that at some point nets will be deployed by drones to hunt each other, and yes, it is the case already. Then I shared this video about Calibre missile over the Kiev. During the nighttime and early hours of this morning, Russian armed forces conducted the long-range precise strikes on military and logistics infrastructure of the Kiev regime in number of directions on Kiev controlled territory. And in this particular case, this missile flied over the Kiev itself, and according to reports, main target for these missiles were airfield Vasilkov. And Russian Defense Ministry today reported that training ground for pilots of the Kiev regime and their engineers were targeted during this missile strike. Maybe that was exactly in Kiev, in that airfield. Then I shared information that Greek islands battle raging wildfires. Unfortunately, these wildfires are a constant problem for many countries worldwide, especially during the summertime. And Greece, year-on-year basis, has this issue also, which is very unfortunate, of course. Several hundred firefighters have been deployed across Greece since Friday, battling over 70 wildfires, with 4 communities on the islands of Andros alone evacuated as a precaution. And of course, wildfires are raging in Russia also, in thousands of square hectares in Siberia. I mean, you cannot compare, of course, the scale of the wildfires between Russia and Greece. Or between Canada and Greece, or US and Greece, but unfortunately it is a constant issue for Greece also. I see a question here. Roch Flanagan is asking, I asked earlier, is this what Nuland meant? Maybe maybe, dear friend, we all remember that during her last visit, that was in Kiev, Nuland basically threatened Russia with some unpleasant surprises, and what we are seeing now in Dagestan definitely can be interpreted as a something that Nuland was talking about. That definitely can be the case, for sure. And then, by the way, I shared this video, neutralization of the point of concentration of Kiev regime forces on Kherson direction. I mean, some quite, well, I don't know what that was, maybe 500, maybe FAB 3000, or maybe missile, I don't know, but explosions were really massive. And then of course videos about this main topic, of course, today was this attack on Crimea, and later on this evening terrorist attacks in Dagestan. I mentioned earlier that US Air Force's RQ-4B Global Hawk, a high-altitude reconnaissance drone, was spotted circulating not far away from Crimea over the Black Sea. And this drone, by the way, at least when I started this stream, was still circling over the region, and most likely was involved in this attack on Crimea today. That's why there can be no doubts that behind these terrorist attacks on Russia is US administration, 100%. So Z12IT is asking, was that FAB 3000? It looked like one, isn't it? I mean, huge explosions. But in the reportings, I did not see specifications what exactly was used, what kind of weapon was used for that strikes. Maybe some missiles, I don't know. And then we have a Russian Defense Ministry statement about today's attack on Sevastopol. So today at 12:15, a terrorist missile strike by 5 US-made ATACMS operational tactical missiles equipped with the cluster warheads was deliberately delivered at Sevastopol. The alerted air defense units intercepted 4 US-made ATACMS missiles. The explosion of the fragmentation warheads of their 5th US-made missile in the air led to high number of casualties among the peaceful residents of Sevastopol. Their American specialists input all 5 tasks into US-made ATACMS operational tactical missiles on the basis of data of the US satellite reconnaissance. That is why Washington is mostly responsible for the deliberate missile strike at peaceful residents of Sevastopol by delivering this weaponry to Ukraine, as well as the Kiev regime, from the territory of which the strike was launched. Such actions are not going to be left unanswered. This is official statement of Russian Defense Ministry. So yes, as I said, man, it's only a matter of time, and we will see next level of escalation, because Moscow will not be able to tolerate these terrorist attacks on Russia by Washington, London, and their allies any longer, man. It's just... let's see what latest is reported on some other Telegram channels. DD Geopolitics is reporting the clashes between police and militants continue on Magomed Tagirov Street in Makhachkala. 4 militants have been eliminated, according to Ministry of Internal Affairs. Also reports that in Sevastopol the air alert has been cancelled. It lasted for 11 minutes. No additional report about situation in Sevastopol. And this is the footage of the Russian National Guard being engaged in a battle with terrorists who have barricaded themselves on the territory of the Holy Assumption Cathedral in Makhachkala. The head of the Sergukala district in Dagestan, Omarov, will be dismissed, reported RIA Novosti, citing a source in the regional leadership. Let's see what RT is reporting about. Some videos about this shootout in Dagestan. Oh, we have additional information that head of Sergukalinsky district, Magomed Umarov, detained in connection with his son's alleged participation in these terrorist attacks on Makhachkala and Derbent, law enforcement agencies report. So that's what is happening, by the way. This is clearly well organized by, I believe, CIA terrorist attack on Russia. That's what is happening in Dagestan, an attempt to divert attention from earlier terrorist attack of Washington that was conducted against Russian civilians in Sevastopol. Nidish Kumar is so Z12IT is asking, why does not Russia take out the airport in Kiev? I have no answer, by the way. I don't know. Russian General Staff has its own understanding how this operation should be conducted, and I am not military expert. I'm not military person, and therefore I just don't know. There are so many instances when some airfields were targeted under control of Kiev regime by Russian forces. There were so many videos I shared on my Telegram channel with the destruction of equipment of the Ukraine's Air Force on those airfields. But why all those airfields are not erased from the face of the earth, I don't know. Maybe it's impossible to achieve that with just strikes with conventional weapons. Maybe that's the issue, because when it comes to airfields, military airfields, for example, the majority of which, all of them basically, was built during the Soviet era, those airfields were built for times if Soviet Union and the West will end up in a direct conflict, if Soviet Union and NATO will end up in direct conflict. And of course, those airfields were built in such a way that Western forces will struggle to take it out with conventional weapons. And maybe that's what is going on. They are just too big, huge. And the only way you can take out such an airfield is a tactical nuke. I mean, that's the only way you can take out entire airfield with one strike. And I guess that's why number of airfields in Ukraine are still operational. And when it comes to targeting, for example, those airfields, it's quite easy to repair, really. While Kiev regime is operating with Soviet airplanes that can take off from poorly prepared airfields or unprepared airfields at all, while they still are operating with those planes, they can repair these damaged airfields quite easily, damaged as a result of Russian strikes with conventional weapons. Western planes would not be able to operate in such conditions, but Soviet era Su-24s, Su-25s, MiG-29s, Su-27s, they are built different. And they can operate, they can take off almost from the field, by the way. From field, literally, I'm not joking, you know. So maybe that's the reason why those airfields are operational. They are just too big and almost impossible to fully take out from action just with conventional weapons, and Russia, as we all know, not yet deployed some extreme force in this conflict. Nidish Kumar is asking, does Russian cargo still passing through the Red Sea, and if West entirely stops Russian ships to dock in European countries, will it affect, or Russia have another methods? Well, if West will completely block Russian warships, not warships, but Russian commercial ships to dock in European ports, there are some restrictions already, but if it's completely blocked, okay, I guess that will create some issues. But just take a look at the map. Russia will divert its goods towards Vladivostok, I guess, and Pacific Ocean will become a main operational route for the Russian Navy, commercial fleet, first of all. That's how it's gonna be. And even now, by the way, I guess, I don't know exact numbers, but I think majority of the goods from Russia already have been exported from this eastern route, in the navy routes in Pacific Ocean. So Europe can block their ports. They can detain Russian ships. They can try, but first of all, Russia will retaliate. And secondly, once again, Russia has other routes also, and disruption will be significant on initial stages, but eventually, just give it a couple of months time, and entire Russian exports will be diverted towards Pacific Ocean. And Russia also can use, of course, these northern sea routes. It's not just a railway that can be used to transport goods towards Vladivostok, but northern sea route is also, of course, actively can be used, especially in summertime. And question from Bubbles. I thought it's illegal to use cluster ammo on a city. Dear friend, I don't think Washington really cares about what is legal and what is not. Rules are not for them. They love to talk about rules-based order, international order, or that kind of stuff, but they don't really care about any of it. It's just talking points for them. And when it comes to cluster munition, US is not subsidiary. They never signed this communique about abandoning cluster munition. Russia also didn't sign up for this. So from US standpoint, they can deploy cluster munition whenever they want. And it's not just US nowadays, by the way. Russia is also deploying cluster munition. Russia was warning that if Kiev regime and its Western masters will start using cluster munition, Russia will respond in a similar manner, and that's what Russia is doing. Once Kiev regime and US and NATO military start deploying cluster munition to the battlefield, Russia start doing the same. Although on the battlefield, by the way, Russia is not targeting with the cluster munition or any civilian areas anywhere. But this is Russia. Russia tries its best, by the way, and often by risking with the lives of its own soldiers to minimize casualty numbers among civilians. While US has very different approach. US administration, US military leadership, they have no care about civilians, by the way. Just take a look military operations of the Pentagon in Afghanistan, Libya, Iraq, Syria. They killing civilians like it's nothing. They just simply don't care. They don't care. That's it. Unfortunately, by the way, because, you know, as one of the members of our community commented earlier about is it possible that US can play role of the good in, you know, in this world. Well, I would like US to be force of good, but is it realistic, really, with such a political class, with such a political system that is corrupt, absolutely, in absolute terms, by the way. I mean, US probably is the most corrupt country in this world. You can literally go and buy senators and the congressmen, by the way, buy. I mean, that's how crazy this political system is in US. So with such a system, with such a political class, with such a mentality of the ruling class in the West in general, I don't think US ever can become a true republic again and the force for a good. I don't think so. Which is really unfortunate, man. Really unfortunate. And dear friends, once again, let me check what's going on here. No additional reports. So it's more than 1.5 hours. Our stream is on air. So if I may, dear friends, I will end this stream now. Let me first check Boosty and also donation alerts. О, русский брат. Купи себе пиво. Thank you very much, русский брат, for your support. Buy beer. Русский брат write the comment that buy you beer. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot. Not today. But well, one of these days, yes, definitely. I will have a pint or two, for sure. Thank you very much for your support, and well, dear friends, sorry if I miss any of your questions. I try my best to be as engaged with community as I can. I'm grateful for your participation in the live stream. Thank you all for your attention, and many thanks to all the members of our community who will join later on, who will watch this live stream in recording. And yes, bye for now. Thank you very much.